Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that takes topics you think you know, digs way deeper, and hopefully gives you that shortcut to really understanding what's going on. Today we're tackling something super common, often just brushed off as, cosmetic, but it bothers millions, especially as we get older.
We're talking about those really thin thread-like lines,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Often kind of red or purplish, the ones that tend to show up on the legs.
Exactly. Sometimes called spider veins, or, as our material terms it, capillary mesh.
Yeah, and we need to be crystal clear right from the start, for you listening. This is not about varicose veins.
Yeah.
Absolutely crucial distinction.
Definitely not. Varicose veins, those are the big ones. Bulging, blue or purple, sometimes painful. You can often feel them under the skin. That's a whole different thing.
Right. We were zeroing in exclusively on the tiniest blood vessels, the capillaries, the absolute smallest pipes in your body's plumbing, so to speak.
And when these little guys get stretched out, become visible, they create that web-like pattern we're focused on today.
And, the first instinct for many is, how do I cover this up? Or maybe seek out some fancy procedure.
Yeah.
But the information we've looked at suggests this isn't just a random cosmetic thing. It's actually a visible sign, a physical clue from your body about a specific internal process.
A process involving essentially accumulation. The body's kind of flagging something.
Precisely. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to lay out, really simply, why this mesh appears in the first place.
Yeah, and why those really expensive treatments, the lasers and stuff, why they so often fail in the long run.
And then, importantly, how a surprisingly simple, really low-cost approach, basically using kitchen-cupboard ingredients, claims to tackle the root cause.
Using science that's actually been around for quite a while.
That's right, leveraging basic physics and chemistry. So the starting point is just understanding what the mesh is. It's those tiny capillaries, stretched out, pathologically widened.
Okay, pathologically widened, meaning not just temporarily flushed, but stuck that way.
Exactly. Stuck open, wider than they should be. But the big question is, why? What's causing that?
Right. So let's get into that. If the usual explanation, like, oh, it's just bad circulation, isn't the whole picture, why do these super delicate vessels widen up and just stay that way?
Well, the analysis we reviewed points to something pretty specific and maybe a bit surprising. It's less about overall flow and more about physics and chemistry at a local level.
Physics. Okay, I'm intrigued.
It seems the main culprit isn't necessarily a big circulatory failure, but the impact of certain, let's call them foreign substances, things the body hasn't managed to flush out properly.
The material calls them toxins or sometimes salts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just to clarify again, we're not talking about, sodium chloride, table salt. It's more like metabolic byproducts or other compounds the body sees as foreign and hasn't eliminated effectively, heavy stuff.
Okay, so the body has this buildup of heavy waste material. But why does it end up specifically in the legs and feet? Why not, everywhere?
Now that is where the basic physics comes in. And it's actually remarkably simple when you think about it.
Lay it on me.
It boils down to gravity, the law of gravity. These particular salts or toxins, the key thing about them is their density. They are heavier than water, heavier than the surrounding fluid in your tissue.
Okay, heavier.
So think about it. If something is heavier than the liquid it's in and it's not being actively stirred up or flushed away efficiently, where does it go?
Down.
Down,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Under the constant, relentless pull of Earth's gravity, these denser compounds naturally sink. They settle and accumulate in the soft tissues at the lowest points of your body.
Your feet, your ankles, your lower legs. Like sediment in a river settling at the bottom.
Precisely. Your lower limbs effectively become the body's gravitational collection zone for this stuff.
And that's why the mesh nearly always starts down low, in the feet or ankles, and then kind of creeps upwards.
That's the explanation offered, yes. It only starts to spread higher up as the concentration really builds up, overwhelming the lower areas. The body is literally highlighting with this visible mesh where the waste has physically settled due to gravity. Elementary physics.
Wow. Okay. That's a very different way of looking at it.
It really is. And this accumulation isn't passive. It's not just sitting there harmlessly.
Right. It must be doing something.
It's irritating. These concentrated substances are chemically abrasive, almost like grit, to the very delicate walls of those tiny capillaries.
Ouch.
Yeah. And the sheer concentration puts physical pressure on the vessel walls, too. This irritation and pressure forces them to widen.
Trying to flush it away.
Exactly. The body trying to increase blood flow to dilute and remove the irritants. But the problem is These substances are too heavy, too concentrated, they don't get flushed easily, so the capillaries stretch, and eventually they stay stretched, permanently dilated.
So it's not just poor circulation in general. It's a localized irritation response to this heavy stuff that gravity pulled down.
That's the core idea presented, yes. Which means if you see mesh starting somewhere else, like your face, it's probably a different cause. But that classic pattern starting low, moving up, points strongly to this gravitational accumulation.
It shifts the focus, doesn't it? From a vein problem to more of a tissue contamination problem, driven by physics.
It absolutely does. And this chemical irritation, this buildup, it leads directly to the second major issue people with capillary mesh almost always report.
Ah, yes. The swelling, edema.
Swelling. That feeling of puffiness and heaviness, especially later in the day.
And most people think of these as two separate things, right? The mesh is cosmetic, the swelling is, I don't know, water retention or something.
Exactly. They treat them as unrelated. But this analysis insists they are absolutely linked. Two symptoms, one single root cause.
Okay, connect the dots for us. How does the salty buildup cause the swelling?
Think back to basic chemistry. We said these substances are referred to as salts. What does salt do with water?
It attracts it, right? Makes you thirsty, holds on to water.
Precisely. They are hygroscopic, meaning they act like little water magnets. So when these salts accumulate in high concentrations in your lower leg tissue,
They start pulling water into the area, like little sponges soaking it up.
exactly. They grab onto water molecules from the surrounding tissues and hold them there. This creates localized water retention, puffiness, swelling.
Even if your main circulation, like your veins and lymphatic system, are working okay.
That's the key point. Even if those major systems are functioning perfectly fine, clearing fluid as they should, these concentrated salts will still trap water locally because of their chemical nature.
So you get this persistent swelling, maybe worse by evening, not because your whole system is failing, but because these localized salt traps are holding on to fluid down there.
That's the mechanism proposed. It's a powerful synthesis, really. The visible mesh, the widened capillaries, that's the irritation from the salts, the swelling, the edema.
Yeah.
That's the water being chemically held by those same salts.
One problem, two visible effects. Irritation causing the mesh, water attraction causing the swelling.
You're not fighting two separate battles. You're fighting one battle against this accumulated, heavy, irritating, water-loving stuff.
Which logically means if you can get rid of the salts, you should see improvements in both the mesh and the swelling.
That's the theory, yes. Address the root cause, and both symptoms should resolve.
Okay. Now this problem, the mesh especially, it's very visible. People don't like how it looks, especially, in warmer weather, wearing skirts or shorts. So they want a quick fix.
Understandably. And that usually means heading to a cosmetic clinic or a beauty salon.
Right. And what do they offer? Lasers. Injections.
Typically, yes. Laser therapy to sort of zap the vessels closed, or sclerotherapy, which involves injecting a solution to make the vessel collapse and fade. High-tech stuff.
And high-cost stuff too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The cost references we saw were significant. We're talking potentially thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on the area and the number of treatments needed. It's a major financial outlay.
People are paying that because they want it gone fast.
Of course. But here's the kicker. The reason we're doing this deep dive. The long-term success. It's often really poor.
How poor are we talking?
The analysis cited a pretty shocking statistic. Something like 85% of women who get these treatments see the capillary mesh come back.
85%. That's huge.
It's massive, and often it returns within just a year, sometimes even sooner.
Wow. So you spend all that money, go through the procedure, and in less than a year, odds are high it's back.
That's what the data suggests, which raises the obvious massive question, why? If the laser supposedly destroyed the vessel, or the injection closed it, why does the web just reappear?
It must mean the treatment isn't fixing the real problem.
Bingo. Remember the root cause we talked about? The accumulated, heavy, irritating salts sitting there in the tissue, pulled down by gravity. Well, the lasers and injections, they target the consequence. The visible, widened vessel. They zap that specific tiny tube, but they do absolutely nothing about the underlying cause. The irritating gunk that made the vessel widen in the first place, which is still sitting right there under the skin.
Ah, okay, so you kill one visible spider leg, but the irritation source is still there, ready to make another leg pop up.
That's a great analogy. The analysis used one like a leaky pipe in the wall. You can patch the crack on the inside, paint over it, make it look perfect.
Looks great for a while.
Right. But you haven't stopped the leak outside. The pressure, the water, or in our case, the irritating salts, is still building up, it will find a new way through. The mess reappears nearby, or maybe slightly further up or down.
It's just treating the symptom, not the disease.
Textbook example. And if that 85% relapse rate is accurate, you have to wonder.
Wonder what?
Well, it suggests the industry providing these expensive treatments likely knows they're often temporary. It becomes less of a cure and more of a maintenance program, a subscription service for cosmetic upkeep.
Because the recurring treatments generate recurring revenue.
Potentially, the focus shifts away from addressing the internal cause, the salts, the gravity effect, and towards external technological fixes. That knowledge gap, the lack of understanding about the real root cause, becomes quite profitable.
That makes cynical business sense, maybe, but it doesn't really help the person suffering from the problem long term.
Not if the goal is a genuine, lasting solution, no.
Okay, so if the problem is these heavy acidic toxins settling down low due to gravity, then the logical solution has to be about getting them out, right? Moving them upwards or outwards against gravity's pull.
Exactly. We need a strategy to physically remove them from that accumulation zone. And the proposed method uses a fundamental principle of molecular movement, something known to science for, reportedly, over 70 years.
70 years, so this isn't some brand new discovery.
Apparently not. The principle itself is well established. It's about how molecules behave in different chemical environments.
Okay, what's the principle?
It's about gradients, specifically the movement from acidic to alkaline. Molecules, particularly charged ones like these irritating salts, have a natural tendency to move away from a more acidic environment.
Which is where the toxins are concentrated, deep in the tissues.
Right, and they move towards an environment that is significantly more alkaline or basic. They're essentially seeking chemical balance or equilibrium, like trying to even out the concentration.
So the plan is create a really strong alkaline zone on the outside, on the skin, to act like a magnet.
That's the core idea. Create a powerful alkaline environment right on the skin surface over the affected area. This should, theoretically, draw those acidic, heavy salts out of the body, through the skin, pulled by this natural chemical tendency.
A low-cost, chemistry-based extraction method.
Exactly. And the ingredient used to create this alkaline magnet, it could not be simpler or cheaper.
Let me guess. Baking soda.
You got it. Common or garden baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. A staple in most kitchens. The real trick isn't the ingredient, it's the precise preparation.
Ah, okay. This isn't just sprinkle some on. We need the details.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned earlier, most people mess this up.
Yes, precision is apparently key for the chemistry to work effectively. So the recipe is specific. You need exactly 1 teaspoon of standard baking soda.
1 teaspoon. Got it.
And 1 glass, just a standard drinking glass of boiling water.
Boiling water.
Okay, boiling water, not just hot tap water.
No, absolutely boiling. We'll come back to why that's critical.
Yeah.
You mix the teaspoon of soda into the boiling water, stir it really well until it's fully dissolved.
And then?
You wait. You need to watch for the chemical reaction. There will be effervescence, bubbling, fizzing, gas being released. You must wait until that reaction stops completely. No more bubbles.
Why is stopping the bubbles so important?
Because the bubbling indicates the chemical reaction is still happening. When it stops, the reaction is complete, and you've created the maximum strength, stable, alkaline solution needed for the drawing effect.
Okay, so teaspoon of soda, glass of boiling water, mix, wait for all the fizzing to stop. Then the alkaline solution is ready. Correct. Now this is where things often go wrong, where the reported 90% failure rate comes in for people trying home remedies like this. There are critical errors people make.
Let's break them down. What's mistake number 1?
Water temperature. We already touched on it, but it's apparently the biggest one. You must use boiling water. The material used the term kiptok, emphasizing truly boiling water.
Why is lukewarm or just hot water no good? Is it just for dissolving?
It's more than dissolving. The intense heat of boiling water is needed to drive the chemical reaction with the bicarbonate fully, creating that strongly alkaline state. Cold or warm water just doesn't cut it chemically. You end up with a weak, ineffective solution.
So using cold water basically makes the whole thing pointless. So you're just having a slightly salty foot soak.
Pretty much, yes. According to this analysis, the necessary chemical pulling power isn't generated without that initial boiling temperature. It's a non-starter chemically.
Okay, critical error 1. Use boiling water. What's number 2?
Patience. We mentioned waiting for the bubbles to stop. People get impatient. They see most of the fizzing die down and think, good enough.
But it's not.
No. If any bubbles are still rising, The reaction isn't complete. The solution isn't at peak alkalinity. You have to wait until it's totally still, fully reacted.
Got it. Wait for complete stillness. Error number 3.
Saturation level. This is about applying the solution. You typically soak something. Cotton socks are often recommended, or maybe cloths or wraps.
Okay.
The mistake is making them too wet. They should be damp or moist, yes, but absolutely not dripping wet when you put them on your feet or legs.
Why is too wet bad? Wouldn't more solution be better?
You'd think so, but no. If the wraps are soaking wet, you risk skin maceration.
Maceration, what's that?
Think about wearing a Band-Aid for too long, especially a waterproof one. The skin underneath gets all white, wrinkly, waterlogged, and fragile.
Ah, right. Pruny.
Exactly. That state actually hinders the process. The waterlogged skin doesn't allow for the efficient molecular transfer, the drawing out of the salts. Plus, it can just cause irritation or breakdown, so damp, not dripping.
Okay, damp, not dripping. Those are the 3 big mistakes. Wrong water temp, impatience with bubbles, and oversaturating the wraps.
Correct. Avoid those, and you've got the basics down. But there's one more essential component, the step that apparently makes the physics actually work.
What's that?
The greenhouse effect. You absolutely need to cover the damp, alkaline socks or wraps with a layer of polyethylene.
Polyethylene, like a plastic bag.
Exactly. A simple plastic grocery bag or plastic food wrap. Something non-breathable wrapped securely over the damp layer and your foot leg.
Why the plastic?
It creates what the material calls a Parnakovi effect, a greenhouse effect. It traps the heat and moisture rising from your skin and the warm solution.
And why is trapping heat and moisture important?
It does 2 crucial things. 1, the warmth gently increases the permeability of your skin, makes the pores open up more, basically, making it easier for molecules to pass through.
Okay.
And 2, the trapped heat provides energy. It helps to actively encourage those heavy, acidic salt molecules deep in the tissue to move outwards, overcoming their inertia and gravity's pull towards the strong alkaline solution on the surface.
So the plastic isn't just keeping the sheets dry, it's actually creating the necessary warm, humid environment to force the molecules to move.
That's the idea. Without that sealed greenhouse, the driving force, if the temperature and humidity gradient isn't strong enough, the drawing effect would be minimal. The heat is the catalyst that makes the physics effective.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. It's a whole system, not just a soak.
Exactly. And there's even a simple way to know if you did it right, a morning after check.
A success test. What is it?
Very simple. In the morning, when you take off the plastic and the damp socks, your feet should have a faint but definite smell of baking soda.
Smell like soda. Why?
It indicates that the alkaline environment was maintained strongly enough overnight for some of the soda ions to potentially interact with or remain on the skin surface effectively. If there's absolutely no soda smell.
Something went wrong.
Correct. It likely means the procedure wasn't done correctly. Maybe the water wasn't boiling. Maybe the plastic wrap wasn't sealed well enough. Maybe the socks dried out too quickly. No smell means review your steps and try again, paying close attention to those details.
That's a clever, low-tech feedback mechanism. Smell the soda, you're on the right track. No smell, adjust your technique.
Precisely. It demands careful execution, even though the ingredients are simple.
Okay, so we've covered the basic recipe, the critical errors to avoid, and the essential greenhouse effect. But the material also mentioned some secrets, ways to supercharge this.
It did. 3 specific secrets were highlighted to potentially increase the effectiveness quite significantly, often by working with the body's natural rhythms.
All right, let's hear them. Secret number 1.
Timing. Do the procedure in the evening, just before bed, not in the morning, not midday.
Why evening specifically? Just convenience.
No, it's biological. During the day, your body is busy. It's using energy for digestion, moving around, thinking, working. All its resources are allocated to those active functions.
Yeah, okay.
But at night, when you sleep, the body shifts gears. Its primary focus becomes detoxification, repair, regeneration. All the energy gets redirected to internal housekeeping.
So by applying the alkaline draw at night, you're catching the body when it's already naturally in its peak cleansing and repair mode, creating a synergy.
That's the rationale. You're working with the body's natural detox cycle, amplifying the effect.
Makes sense. Okay, secret number 2.
This one involves internal preparation. About an hour before you start the soak procedure,
Yes.
drink a glass of warm water with some fresh lemon juice squeezed into it.
Hold on. Lemon juice. Isn't lemon juice acidic? We're trying to create an alkaline environment. Why drink acid beforehand?
A common point of confusion. Yes, lemon juice is acidic outside the body. Tastes acidic, tests acidic. But the key is what happens after your body metabolizes it. Once processed by your digestive system, the minerals in lemon juice actually have a powerful alkalizing effect on your body fluids systemically. It leaves behind alkaline ash, so to speak.
So drinking acidic lemon juice actually makes your internal system more alkaline overall.
Correct. It's counterintuitive, but that's how the biochemistry works. So by drinking warm lemon water an hour before, you're proactively starting to alkalinize your system from the inside.
While the soak works from the outside. A push-pull effect.
Exactly. You're encouraging the toxins out from both directions, preparing the internal environment.
Clever. Okay, what's secret number 3?
This one is about what happens after the soak. Post-procedure patients. In the morning, when you take off the wraps and socks, don't immediately jump in the shower or wash your feet.
Why not? Don't you want to rinse off any residue?
Eventually, yes, but you need to wait. The recommendation is to wait for a crucial 20 minutes before washing.
20 minutes. What's happening in that window?
The explanation is that the chemical gradient, that difference between the acidic inside and the previously alkaline outside, is still active for a short while. Toxins are still migrating outwards through the skin even after the main alkaline source is removed.
So washing immediately cuts short that final outflow.
That's the idea. Give it that extra 20 minutes to maximize the toxin exit before you rinse everything away. Maximize the exit window.
Okay, so evening application, pre-soak lemon water, and a 20-minute wait before washing in the morning. Those are the 3 secrets.
Those are the core 3. There was also an optional enhancement mentioned for potentially boosting the effect further, but it comes with a very serious warning.
Oh, what's the enhancement?
Adding iodine to the baking soda solution.
Iodine. The brown antiseptic stuff. Why add that?
Iodine is a potent natural antiseptic and anti-inflammatory. The thinking is that those accumulated toxic salts can create low-grade chronic inflammation in the surrounding tissues, contributing to the redness and maybe some discomfort.
So the iodine helps calm that inflammation while the soda draws out the source.
That seems to be the rationale, yes, complementing the main action.
Okay, but you said a serious warning.
Extremely serious. Dosage is absolutely critical here. The instruction is to add exactly 3 to 4 drops, that's drops, not capfuls or glugs, 3 to 4 drops only of standard iodine solution into the whole glass of baking soda mixture.
And what happens if you add more?
You risk a chemical burn. Iodine is caustic in higher concentrations. Exceeding that tiny 4-drop limit could genuinely damage the skin. It must be respected.
Okay, 3 to 4 drops max. That's vital.
Absolutely. And even with that tiny amount, because people's skin sensitivities vary wildly, an allergy test is mandatory before you use it in the main soak.
How do you do the test?
Simple. Put 1 single drop of the iodine-enhanced soda solution on a small patch of sensitive skin. The inside of your wrist is usually good. Wait 5 minutes. If there's any redness, itching, burning, any reaction at all,
don't use the iodine. Stick to just the baking soda.
Correct. Safety absolutely comes first with this enhancement. If in doubt, leave it out.
Got it. Iodine is optional. Use with extreme caution, max 3 to 4 drops, and always allergy test first.
Precisely.
All right. This whole strategy, it sounds compelling, low cost, based on understandable science. But the big question remains, how do you actually know if it's working? Beyond just hoping the mesh fades over weeks or months.
That's a crucial point. And the analysis provides 5 clear, observable signs that the body itself will show you, often starting pretty quickly, maybe after just 3 to 5 nights of doing the procedure consistently.
5 signs the toxins are actually moving out. Okay, let's list them. What's sign number 1?
Skin texture. Simple touch test. In the morning, the skin on your feet and lower legs should start to feel noticeably smoother, softer.
Why smoother?
The idea is that the presence of those gritty, toxic salts in the tissues makes the overlying skin feel rough, maybe a bit coarse or dry. As they get drawn out, the skin texture naturally improves, returning to its healthier state.
Okay, smoother skin. Sign number 2.
This is a big one, directly related to the chemistry we discussed. Reduced evening swelling, edema.
Ah, the water magnet effect lessening.
Exactly. Remember, less salt equals less water being trapped. So you should notice significantly less puffiness, less tightness, less swelling in your ankles and lower legs by the end of the day. For many, this is apparently one of the very first and most encouraging signs.
That's powerful because swelling and that heavy feeling are so common, people often just accept it.
Right. But here it's presented as a direct measure of the salts leaving. Sign number 3 is related. Skin color improvement.
How does the color change?
The chronic presence of toxins and the resulting low-grade inflammation can give the skin a sort of dull, grayish, unhealthy tint, sometimes a bit mottled. As the irritants are removed and microcirculation improves,
The skin gets its healthy color back, pinker, more vibrant.
exactly, that unhealthy pallor starts to disappear, replaced by a healthier tone.
Okay, smoother texture, less swelling, better color. What's sign 4? This must be the mesh itself.
Yes. Sign number 4 is the visible fading of the capillary mesh. Now, it's important to manage expectations. It won't vanish overnight. These are damaged vessels.
Sure.
But reportedly, after just 3 or 4 consistent applications, you should start to see the mesh look visually paler, less intensely red or purple, less bright. It's the first visual clue that the pressure and irritation on those tiny vessels are easing, allowing them to slowly start contracting back towards normal.
Paler mesh, a visible sign of progress. And the 5th sign.
Less fatigue in the legs, that feeling of heaviness, aching, like your legs are made of lead by the end of the day.
Yeah, that dragging feeling.
That should decrease significantly. Again, the theory is the toxins cause inflammation and stiffness in the surrounding tissues. Remove the irritants, reduce the inflammation, and the legs just feel lighter, less tired, more energetic.
Smoother skin, less swelling, better color, paler mesh, and lighter feeling legs. Those are 5 pretty concrete things to look for.
They provide a tangible feedback loop. Objective and subjective signs that this simple physics-based approach is actually doing what it claims, pulling those heavy irritants out from that gravitational pooling zone.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, we've taken a really deep dive here.
Yeah.
We've looked beyond the surface, beyond just spider veins, to understand the proposed mechanism.
Yeah, seeing it not as just bad luck or simple aging, but potentially as a direct physical consequence of these heavy salts accumulating in the lower limbs pulled down by gravity.
And that reframes the whole approach to fixing it, instead of just attacking the visible symptom.
You address the root cause, the accumulated stuff itself.
And the value proposition is stark, isn't it? We're contracting a method that costs essentially pennies the price of baking soda and maybe some plastic bags, plus patience and precision, versus spending potentially thousands, even tens of thousands on cosmetic procedures that have, according to the stats cited, a very high chance of the problem just coming right back within a year because the underlying cause wasn't touched.
It's a significant contrast. The core takeaway seems to be that these 3 things, the visible capillary mesh, the chronic swelling or edema, and that feeling of leg fatigue, they aren't separate issues.
They're all symptoms.
All symptoms pointing back to the same fundamental problem, that buildup of heavy, irritating, toxic salts in the lower body.
And that problem, this analysis argues, can potentially be tackled using really basic, accessible laws of physics and chemistry, creating that alkaline gradient to pull the acidic waste out.
Exploiting that natural molecular movement.
Which leaves us, as always on the deep dive, with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
If this underlying mechanism, the gravitational settling of heavy waste, the acidic nature of that waste, and the principle of drawing it out with an alkaline gradient, if this has been understood scientifically for, as suggested, maybe 70 years, why isn't this simple, low-cost approach more widely known or recommended? Why is the immediate go-to so often the expensive, temporary cosmetic fix that ignores the root cause?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Whose interests are best served by keeping the focus just on the surface symptoms, rather than empowering people with the knowledge to address the underlying physical process?
It highlights the power of understanding how your own body works. The clues are there, the symptoms. The science offers a potential solution. Bridging that gap with knowledge, that seems to be the real key. Something to consider.